meeting of the two committees, the Science, Science, Technology and Innovation and Human Settlement. I haven't checked if the Honorable Chairperson, Honorable CRB, is in the meeting or not. I'm just checking him.
He has joined, Chairperson.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will co-chair with my honorable member. What I will do, I will introduce, and then when the presentation is done by both by the team, and then we will allow also the team. He's going to. I'll hand over to him, as we will be leading the issue, the questions from the honorable members. You are all welcomed, and can we get to the apologies for my name before that? My name is Tembeka Mchunu. I'm a member of the DSTI Portfolio Committee. I'm currently acting as a chairperson because the chairperson is, resigned. So we're still waiting for the process to be completed, so that we can then elect a new chairperson that will be provided to us as we continue. But you are all welcome. In the platform from the team, from the DSTI team, can I allow members of the DSTI team to introduce themselves? There is a hand, Knox A54.
I think it's Tree from Human Settlements.
Oh, okay. No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can Honorable CRB, can we allow the members of the DSTI to introduce themselves, then hand over to you, so that you can then lead the team? You also assist us in knowing who is in the platform from your portfolio committee. Can I start with Honorable Sapo? Introduce yourself. Honorable members from DSTI. Honorable Mazzoni.
Good morning, Acting Chairperson. My name is Natasha Mazzoni. I'm a Member of Parliament, and I am a member on the Portfolio Committee for Science, Technology and Innovation.
Honorable Mchatu, I saw you. Thank you so much, Mazzoni.
Good morning, honorable members, Chairperson. My name is Temikosi Mjatu. I'm a member of this Portfolio Committee, Science, Technology and Innovation.
Thank you. Honorable Sapo. Honorable Tembekwayo.
Good morning, Chair and colleagues. Dr. Tembekwayo, Member of Parliament and serving on the Committee of Science, Technology and Innovation. Thank you.
Honorable, thank you, Doctor. Honorable Mbata, I saw you. Honorable Mbata. Honorable Mtaung.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nomasonto Mutaung, a member in the Portfolio Committee of Science, Technology and Innovation.
Honorable Sabo, are you back? Honorable Nkosi.
Good morning, Honorable Chair. Morning to all honorable members in the meeting, and morning to departments. My name is Vusi Nkosi. I'm a member of Portfolio Committee of Science, Technology and Innovation. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Zondo.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Saneda Zondo, a member of Parliament and a member of the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Dumi Ramgalo. Honorable Ramgalo.
Good morning, Acting Chair. Good morning to all the colleagues. I am a member of Parliament. My name is Dumelo Ramgalo, and I'm also a member of the Portfolio Committee of Science, Technology and Innovation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm not leaving anyone around. Oh, Honorable Mbata, and then Honorable Boshoff, if he is around.
Okay, Chair, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning to all the members of Parliament. My name is Sipombata. I'm the member of Science, Technology and Innovation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mtia. Is Honorable Boshoff? I don't see him.
He's not on yet, Chair.
He's not yet. Okay. Thank you very much. Honorable Chair Siabi, can I allow you, Honorable Mbata, can you switch off the mic? Yes, thank you. Can I allow the chairperson of Human Settlement Portfolio Committee to take over and so that we know the team that is with him? Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Honorable Chair, and good morning to all members from the two portfolio committees who are on the platform. I've seen even the Deputy Minister of Science and Technology. Good morning. My name is Nok Siabi. I'm the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements. In the platform, we have Honorable Poole, who's a member of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements. We have Honorable Betty Kahakilwe, who's also the member of the committee. We have Honorable Mbali Dlamini, a member of the Portfolio Committee. We have Sakina Frenchman, a member of the Portfolio Committee, and we also have Saira Abada. Those are the members. We have other members who are attending to other portfolios who have apologized, Honorable Ditebe and Honorable Makakula. And we also have from the department, we have a team led by the DG, Dr. Alec Muyemi. He's leading a team to participate in the meeting. When I raised my hand, Chair, I was going to request you to continue chairing. I'm not in a good space. I'm driving to the airport to catch a plane to Cape Town. So I may have a connectivity problem on the road. If you agree, I would request you just to chair the meeting until the end. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for being part of us and also introducing the honorable members and the DG. I think on our side, only two members that were not Honorable Boshoff. I can see he has joined now. Honorable Boshoff, just introduce yourself. You are welcome. Oh, he has joined. He will, Honorable Sapo.
I have just landed in Cape Town and I'm on my way, but I could get into the meeting just now. So I'm a member of the Portfolio Committee for Science and Innovation. Thank you very much for introducing me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Boshoff. Honorable Sapo. maybe she's still having a problem of connectivity also. Thank you very much, honorable members, for honoring this meeting. We are here, and as the Science, Technology and Innovation Portfolio Committee, working, given the task to do the oversight over the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. One of the things that our minister always says that, which is also the theme of the department, is to make science to be at the center of every development within the country, and to make sure that our work, as it collaborates and works with other departments, we come together with other portfolio committees so that it can be presented, so that as honorable members we are aware of what the department is doing. We are aware of what the entities are doing. So we are here today with human settlement to do exactly that. Can we then move on to apologies? I've seen that there is an apology of the minister who is in Brazil and on the official business. And I don't know, Honorable Chairperson said he saw Honorable DM, but I don't see Honorable Gina here. But we will proceed with those with this apologies, unless there are others, Honorable. Unless there are other apologies, Shanaz.
Okay, there's nothing from my side, unless Human Settlement's got apologies. Thanks.
Okay. Human Settlement, there are apologies that were presented by the Honorable Chairperson. Secretary of Human Settlement, I'm sorry, I need to get your name so that I can. Is there any other Koliswa, is there any other apology except the ones that were presented by the chairperson?
Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning to everybody in the platform. Mr. Gamede is also attending another committee chair this morning. That is one apology I have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Then I present the apologies. Can we accept these apologies? Members? Yes, Honorable Nkosi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Yes, I move that we accept the apologies as read. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any seconder? Honorable Siabi. Honorable Siabi, my chairperson.
I think his hands indicates that he's seconding.
Okay. No, thank you so much. We take it that the head is seconding. Oh no, let's move. Oh yes.
Oh, I wanted to second, but also to submit the apology of Minister Tembisi Melani.
Okay.
She told me that she may not be able to attend, and she will send the Director General with the team.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate that addition. And can we add that addition as we adopt these apologies, as we accept these apologies? Then let's get to the agenda, the consideration of the agenda. The agenda is just it's just the first item, briefing by the DSTI on science, technology, and innovation for sustainable human settlements. which is STI for SHS roadmap. And then it will be the questions and discussions, then the concluding remarks, then the committee business at the end of everything. I present the agenda before the committee. Honorable Kihakilwe.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, honorable members, members from the DGs from both departments and their delegation. I propose that we adopt the agenda as outlined by the Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Honorable Ntaung.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. I second the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The agenda has been adopted and seconded. Can we then move to the briefing by the department led by the DG? As I've indicated that we have DG, Dr. Mlungisi Cele. Can I allow Dr. Cele to introduce the DG from the human settlement so that we all know him? And also, DG, you will guide us as per your team, who is here, who is going to participate in this particular meeting, in this presentation, so that we are all aware as members of parliament who will we be engaging with as we proceed. Over to you, DG Dr. Cele and the DG from Human Settlement. DG.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Maybe mute the micro. You can mute it here. Just mute it.
There is another gadget that is on next to you, DG.
Yeah, I'll try. Guys, mute it here.
Okay,
Can try again, switch off the gadget, and if because we have seen you, you can also switch off the video if there is a challenge, so that we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Okay. There is a problem. Maybe it can, but it was going to be good for the DSTI to start. Maybe give to the DG of Human Settlement whilst they are still sorting out their problem that side. Just to introduce the team from the department, Human Settlement. Oh, what's going on? Okay. There is a mic that is on. It's on Rasibe N.
Chairperson, thank you very much.
Thank you.
With your permission, I could proceed to introduce the team from the Department of Human Settlements. Chairperson, my name is Alec Muemi, and I'm the Director General of the Department of Human Settlements. I'm today accompanied by Mr. Francois Hugo, who is responsible for our research in the policy branch, and I'm also accompanied by Ms. Nonhlanhla Buthelezi, who is the Chief Director responsible for policy development. And we also have in the meeting Ms. Albertina Ballo, who is the Head of Administration of our department. And we also have Ms. Kosi, and Kosi is the head of the Office of the Director General in Cape Town, and with responsibilities of parliamentary as well as cabinet cluster coordination. We also have Ms. Tambani Makata, who is the parliamentary liaison officer of the Office of the Minister. Who is the head of the Office of the Deputy Minister of Human Settlements. And we also have the parliamentary liaison officer of the Deputy Minister. So that will be the delegation from the Department of Human Settlements, and together with the spokesperson of the Minister, Mr. Tekiso Machike. And that concludes our delegation, Honorable Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG. Dr. Cele, are you okay now? Can we give you the... What's going on now? Dr. Cele, are you...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, you can continue.
Chair, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Just take this thing out.
Please proceed.
Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Apologies for this technical mistake. So let me greet both the chairpersons, Honorable Chairperson Khune and Honorable Chairperson Siabi, and all honorable members. And also let me extend my greetings to my colleague DG Muemi and his team. I'm joined by my colleagues, the Deputy Director General, Dr. Morfe, and the Chief Director, Dr. Msiwa, and the Chief of Staff, as well as we are joined by colleagues from CSIR, Dr. Malinga and Ms. Ramohlale. So these are the members that are supporting the DSTI team. It is my privilege, Honorable Chairperson and members, to lead a delegation from the department and the CSIR. As I've indicated, I'm joined by the team. In 2018, the department and the National Department of Human Settlements entered into a memorandum of understanding to advance the use of innovative building technologies across the human settlement sector. Together with the CSIR and other sector partners, we developed the Science, Technology and Innovation for Sustainable Human Settlements Roadmap as a framework for piloting, demonstrating, and mainstreaming innovation in human settlement. The roadmap provides a coordinated approach to deploying smart, green, and sustainable technologies in the context of digital transformation and climate change. It responds to persistent challenges, including the spatial legacy of apartheid, housing backlogs, poor quality settlements, and rising utility costs that continue to undermine the well-being of our people. Research under the roadmap has identified a range of promising innovations, including energy-efficient building systems and green construction materials, as well as digital tools for planning and managing human settlements. These innovations support improved service delivery, off-grid solutions, living solutions, and climate resilience, contributing to national priorities as outlined in the National Development Plan and global targets such as Sustainable Development Goal 11. However, we note that innovation uptake in the sector remains limited due to a variety of reasons, such as the siloed implementation and insufficient coordination. The roadmap therefore calls for deeper collaboration, shared learning, and well-defined pathways for scaling up technologies across the sector. Our own decadal plan further emphasizes the need for cross-sector budget coordination and a social compact that brings together government, academia, industry, civil society to address South Africa's complex socio-economic challenges. Our objective is clear: to position science, technology, and innovation at the center of building a sustainable human settlements, strengthening the adoption of new technologies, and modernizing approaches to housing delivery. Increased investment in innovation and stronger partnerships are essential to achieving this vision. Honorable members, the agents of transitioning to sustainable and resilient human settlements cannot be overstated. This is why we continue to champion science, technology, and innovation as a catalyst for progress across government and industry and education and society. I therefore like to request my colleague, Dr. Msiwa, who will be followed by the CSIR, to make the presentations, Honorable Chairperson. With your permission, Dr. Msiwa, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tichi. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, thank you very much, Chairperson. So I'm going to run through a few slides just to introduce the roadmap that we have worked on with the CSIR and also in partnership with the National Department of Human Settlements. The role that I have in the department is really about infusing technology and innovation to improve the delivery of basic services, but also to support municipalities with innovations and technologies in the context of the DDM. We demonstrate these technologies to influence policy as well, but also to showcase technologies that have got the potential for widespread adoption in various government departments, in this case, in human settlements. And we have worked together with the Department of Human Settlements in defining the roadmap. So my role will be just to go through a few slides to give background and context, and also explain how we went about developing the science, technology, innovation for sustainable human settlements roadmap, and what were the objectives and what were the challenges that we were trying to solve at that time. So I'll then afterwards hand over to my colleagues at the CSIR, who will present in detail the science, technology, innovation, sustainable human settlements roadmap, the nuts and bolts of this roadmap, the mechanisms, and also they will give some high-level progress report on the implementation of this particular roadmap. So it follows that we had the IBT Summit, which we participated in, organized by National Human Settlements Department in Nasrec. We acknowledge the summit as very much important, but also a key milestone in advancing the innovation agenda in human settlements. And I think the two processes have got some complementarity to each other and also designed to really deepen the partnership between the two departments, but also ensure there is participation of broader stakeholders. We signed an MOU with the department, as the DG has mentioned, as early as 2018, 2019. It is currently under review. The broad areas of collaboration we agreed on was that the DSTI will jointly support the National Department of Human Settlements in decision support tools for evidence decision-making, spatial data, satellite imagery, more so from the entity of the DSTI, SANSA, South African National Space Agency, for monitoring of settlements, as we have observed this during the, I think the July 2021 unrest, using Earth observation also to simulate modeling of settlements and simulation of disasters. So there are broad areas, but key in these broad areas of collaboration is climate change. How do we deploy technology in the context of climate change in human settlements? A number of projects have come about in that MOU. One is this roadmap, which is a joint collaborative activity with the human settlements. And then there's a whole lot of other initiatives that we have undertaken together with National Human Settlements in the spirit of this roadmap and also in the spirit of this MOU. The IBT demonstrations, the local flush toilets that we have rolled out as pilots, as technology demonstrators in KwaZulu-Natal. I think we did about 1,000 back then, as early as 2015, some in KwaZulu-Natal, some in the Eastern Cape, an IBT benchmark study, the Red Book, which has come through from the CSIR to provide planning guidelines for human settlements, and many other initiatives. So they've come through as a result of this particular roadmap. As stakeholders, we realized that we have to find a way to come together and collaborate. The stakeholders who gathered and agreed that we need a pathway for deploying technologies in human settlements are the ones that are listed on the slide here. Led by the National Department of Human Settlements and DSTI, we engaged the likes of NHBRC, who were part of our steering committee for this particular roadmap process, Agramant SA, SALGA, the Technology Innovation Agency, the two universities, Nelson Mandela University and Mangosuthu University in Durban, CSIR, and many other stakeholders who form part of this coalition of partners who were defining how can we mainstream and introduce technologies in human settlements. In government departments are the ones that you see listed on the slide: Department of Environmental Affairs, Water and Sanitation, NH, they all form part of the steering committee. We quickly realized, Chair, during the engagement processes that there are a number of sustainability challenges that are facing human settlements, in which technology and innovation could be exploited to address those sustainability challenges. We all agreed that amongst these is the issue of urbanization, where you've got a lot of people moving to urban areas now, resulting into the sprawling of informal settlements, which is a big challenge as we see the mushrooming of informal settlements in various cities. We agree this is a challenge, perhaps, in which we could use IBTs to address this challenge. But the other sustainability challenges is what we all know: the CO2 emissions, net zero building, and the quest for the use of technology to ensure access to safe, equitable sanitation, especially in areas where you cannot provide sewered sanitation system and where there is a lack of water because of climate change. The alternatives could have been around non-sewered sanitation systems. And the fact that there is a demand that is increasing for water, yet the supply also is a big challenge in the country. I think the estimation is that by 2030, our water demand will surpass our supply. The aging infrastructure, but in particular, the cost of basic services for households, that most of the households, most of their income goes to water, sanitation, and utilities. So these were sustainability challenges that we clearly identified. On the other hand, Chairperson, we have been piloting as the DSTI technologies that are promising to be the game changers. So in a very ad hoc way, various stakeholders like the National Department with Eric Molobi, DSTI, demonstrating what technologies that could be upscaled and be mainstreamed. An example is the one in Umkondo, the smart geyser for households to be able to manage their water consumption. We rolled out 200 units in the township in Umkondo, in Caroline. But these things have been isolated, very few, and they've lacked traction, and they have not been upscaled. We noticed that. The other example I could also share is the example where we have piloted and demonstrated in eThekwini, in Oakford, a low-power flash system with the support of Durban Metro and Water Research Commission. But again, if you look at other demonstrations that I've got on the slide on the top right-hand corner, is an off-grid settlement concept that we have now realized in Port Alfred in the Eastern Cape, where we are showcasing at a small scale how we could set off grid just a few houses from water and use of grey water system. In Cape Town recently, in the Seven Delan informal settlement in partnership with Water Research Commission, the DSTI, also demonstrated non-sewered sanitation system benefiting about 270 households. In December in Limpopo, we rolled out a low-power flash system, 200 households. In KwaZulu-Natal, sorry, in Eastern Cape, we piloted early 2017 a small-scale hydropower in the rural village. So there's a number of these technologies that we've been piloting, including the use of drones for monitoring informal settlements as a decision support tool. But all of these have not been scaled up. They have not been mainstreamed. Now, the one I was talking about in Dlambe, Ekhupuleni, Port Alfred, Ekhupuleni Township in Port Alfred, we had off-grid grey water recycling systems and solar PV panels, and also landscaping design using environmental sensitive principles, and built a few houses using innovative building technologies. At the center of this chair is to, whilst demonstrating technologies, is to create skills and opportunities for entrepreneurs to participate and gain new skills in the township. So there's a number of young people who have been trained in that particular township. But we have also successfully completed a digital hub that you see on the screen there. So around the digital hub is about 10 houses that we have set off grid. And there is a design around LED activities, which will involve young people to participate using this digital hub in starting their own businesses. The stakeholders involve international partners like the Potsdam University in Germany, who dedicated technologies that we are demonstrating. The Eastern Cape Department of Human Settlements provided subsidy quantum for the 10 houses that we've got in the Eastern Cape Dlambe project. The CSR is the implementing entity. They are here, they will explain more. Nelson Mandela University researched on LED and set up community structures around local economic development opportunities. The DSTI is the sponsor for this initiative. The National Department of Human Settlements is also involved, and in Dlambe local municipality. So we are now looking at handing over. In partnership with UJ, like I said, we had an engagement and a partnership with Professor Mahache on 3D construction printed homes. We asked him to do 4 things. We asked him to look at the technology and the robotic arm that he's got and its potential in accelerating delivery of houses in the South African context. And we asked him to look at policy implications. What will be policy implications for such a system to be rolled out, but also what will be the social implications, from a social acceptance point of view. And we asked him to also assess whether there are opportunities to localize these robotic machines, because mostly they come from overseas. But if you want to have a sustainable rollout of this, they must be localized. They must be able to create some opportunities for livelihoods around them, including opportunities for SMMEs, maybe to supply, components in these machinery. So he has done that research. He has gone through Agreement SA for certification. He has gone through NHBRC to test what will be the regulatory compliance requirements for this machinery to be rolled out. So we've seen all of these as niches, Chairperson. These are niches. They have been ad hoc. They've been isolated. They have not been coordinated. They have not been scaled up. So in the conceptualization of the roadmap, the framing of the roadmap and its logic, it is premised on understanding these as niches that must be supported, be shielded, be protected so that they can be institutionalized and they become part of our value chain in the delivery of houses. We then realized there are challenges, hence the roadmap. So the roadmap was framed to address some of the challenges that are inhibiting the uptake of technologies in human settlements. On the slide there, I've summarized some of these challenges, including the lack of investment for technologies and IBTs, innovative building technology. So we have not seen a lot of investment directed towards upscaling these technologies, a lack of a systematic approach. All partners, stakeholders are working in isolation. That we saw as a big challenge, but also a lack of the culture of innovation in the sector itself, which seems to be very much biased towards brick and mortar, but also conservative in approach, because there's a whole lot of these technologies that are coming through, but our system has been slow. So very conservative in approach, but there's a range of documents that we have defined to explain what these challenges are. So the roadmap was then defined against that particular background, Chairperson. It took 18 months. We went through consultation with a whole lot of stakeholders, including provincial departments. We had 11 consultative workshops. We had a visioning workshop at the beginning, research studies that were done and documented by the CSIR to understand the extent of IP in this sector, and also to understand what the barriers are. We consulted experts, Chairperson. We invited various experts from universities. We also consulted industry to come and showcase technologies that they may have for the sustainable human settlements. This was an out-of-the-box conference held at the CSIR, showcasing these various technologies. The process was anchored on an extensive stakeholder engagement. So it was not just by a few researchers at the CSIR, DSTI, and National Department. It was a thorough consultative process that was broad, and we documented quite a lot, Chairperson. We had a website. We've got documents that and reports that were produced, a synthesis report of the entire human settlements sector, and all such documents are still available. So the roadmap is defined to address three things. The primary objectives are as follows: to coordinate the efforts of stakeholders so that we don't have ad hoc and isolated implementation. 2, to mobilize financial resources for technologies. And 3, to prioritize technology demonstrators and pilot projects that may be game changers in this particular sector. So we then said, okay, we're going to prioritize those that have got potential for adoption. The framing of the roadmap recognizes, Chair, it will not be just about one technology demonstration, but it's about a whole range of issues. It's an entire socio-technical system. It's the rules, it's the regulations, it is the norms and standards, it's the subsidy quantum, it's issues around social acceptance, it's attitude of citizens towards IBT. It's a whole range of things. So it's more about creating a space using this roadmap for learning as government, for reflexivity, so that we then open up the entire value chain. So it has been about trying to look at the entire socio-technical system, not just technologies in isolation, understanding that technologies are not only important alone, but it has to be understood that for us to mainstream these technologies, we must see them in the broader context, in the broader system. So in conclusion, Chair, we have, as the DSTI, seed funded the establishment of the PMU for the roadmap, and we have provided some funding for the CSIR to host the roadmap and also to now start implementing this particular roadmap. But the challenge is about investment in the implementation of the roadmap. The DG has approved a process of an engagement process between the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation and the National Department of Human Settlements at a DDG level to explore if we can't use the budget coordination principle coming out of the decadal plan to mobilize finances and to ensure there is co-investment by the two departments towards supporting the implementation of the activities that are outlined in the roadmap, which the CSIR will now explain what those activities, what are the initiatives that we have planned, and where are we in terms of the implementation of those activities. But the challenge has been also been around investing in this particular exercise and mobilizing resources enough for these pilots to be scaled up using this roadmap as a framework to coordinate, but also as a framework to ensure that we move towards smart, green, sustainable settlements in the context of climate change and 4th IR. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, DG. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, colleagues.
Just 1 second.
Chair, thank you. My apologies. I did not acknowledge the CEO of CSIR, whom I would like to request to take over and complete the presentation by sharing what CSIR has been doing. Over to you, Dr. Tlamini.
Thank you very much, DG Dr. Pele. Good morning, honorable members of the two portfolio committees. I also want to greet the colleagues from the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, as well as the colleagues from Human Settlements, and also greet the advisor to the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Mr. Mandela, who is also present with us this morning. My name is Thulani Dlamini. I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. I'm joined by a team from the CSIR, Dr. Malinga, who is the Divisional Group Executive for Smart Society, Dr. Mark Napier, who is a Research Group Leader, Housing and Urban Studies, Ms. Silayelo Ramohlale, who is our Senior Researcher, Housing and Urban Studies, Dr. Coralie van Renen, who is the Research Group Leader for Infrastructure Innovation, as well as Ms. Gillian Juris and Dr. Elia Matigane, who are in our Parliamentary Liaison Office. So good morning to everyone. We have a set of slides that we'd like to share. Slide, if you can put it on slideshow mode, please. You can go to the next slide. I don't know if you can make it such that we only see the slide that is being presented without the slide that is coming. You can change the display settings, perhaps, slide, if you can do that for us, Solo. So these are the points that we are going to cover. I'll do a very quick overview in the interest of time on who the CSIR is and what is it that we do. This is really for the interest of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements. And then I'll hand over to my colleagues, Silayelo Ramohlale and Dr. Coralie van Renen, to take us through the details of the roadmap as well as the achievements to date with regards to the implementation of the roadmap. If you can go to the next slide, Silayelo. Thank you. Next slide, please. So in terms of the CSIR, very briefly, I'm careful, I'm conscious of the time constraint. So the CSIR is the National Business Enterprise established in 1945 through the Scientific Council Act. And Section 3 of this Act speaks to the objectives of the CSR, which is contained in this slide. We undertake directed research and technological innovation to foster scientific and industrial development, and we interpret this as saying we want to use science and engineering to drive industrial development in our country, to contribute towards the development of a capable state, and to address the socio-economic challenges that our country is facing. That ultimately everything that we do as a CSR ought to contribute to improving the quality of lives of the people of South Africa. We don't do this alone, as it is indicated in the CSR mandate. We work with the public as well as the private sector, both locally and internationally. Next slide, please. So we've translated this very broad mandate into a vision and a mission statement. Our vision is that we see ourselves as accelerators of socio-economic prosperity in South Africa through leading innovation, and how we achieve this is by collaboratively innovating and localizing technologies whilst providing knowledge solutions for the inclusive and sustainable advancement of industry and society. So we are very conscious of the fact that the role of the CSR is not only to innovate, but also to provide knowledge that informs industry, that informs government in terms of the policies, the standards, and the decisions that we need to make around matters of technology. But also, we realize that we don't have to innovate for everything that we need to address in our country, that if there are solutions that exist in other parts of the world, we should have the courage to adapt them for our specific circumstances and to localize them within the South African environment. Of course, localization also has the element of reducing South Africa's technology balance of payments in terms of dependence on technologies that we import from other parts of the world, and we illustrate how we achieve this in the organization. Next slide, please. We are an organization that is guided by a set of values. We strive for excellence. We are a people-centered organization. We conduct ourselves with integrity. And lastly, we value collaboration, because we always talk of ourselves that the work that we do in the CSIR is not for the CSIR. It's to serve government, it's to serve industry, and it is to serve society. And I think the work that we'll be presenting today on science, technology, and innovation for sustainable human settlements is a good example of how we live to this value of collaboration. Next slide, please. Our impact statement, the things that we try to achieve as an organization, are contained in this slide. First is that we want to contribute to inclusive growth of the South African economy through the work that we do. We want to contribute to improving the competitiveness and sustainability of South African enterprises through the work that we undertake in the organization. We want to create impact through the commercialization of the intellectual property that is generated at the CSR, but also through the transfer of technology and knowledge to enable the creation of a capable state. And then lastly, we want to demonstrate the relevance of science, technology, and innovation as a key enabler for economic development in our country. Next slide, please. In terms of numbers, we employ just under 2,300 people in the organization. 79% of those are Black South Africans, 46% female. And we drive these issues of transformation, both in terms of race and gender, very deliberately within the CSR in a very challenging environment. 70% of the total staff complement of the CSIR is what we call the SCT base. Those are the scientists, the engineers, and technologists who undertake the work that we do. And if you look at the set base, 73% of our set base is made up of Black South Africans and 40% female. We employ 2.7% of our employees with some form of disability. 30% of our employees have master's degrees and 19% have PhDs. We have a geographic footprint that covers a large part of our country. Our main campus is in Pretoria, but we have operations in Johannesburg, in Durban, in Gqeberha, in Stellenbosch, as well as in Cape Town. Next slide, please. These are the objectives that we've set for ourselves. There are 5 of them. The first 3 speak to outputs, outcomes, and the impact that we wish to create. So we see ourselves conducting research and development in transformative technologies, but not just doing research and development for the sake of doing research and development. We want to ensure that the work that we do, or the outcomes of the work that we do, are diffused into the environment in which they can create impact, be it in industry, be it in government, or directly in society. We want to contribute directly to the reindustrialization of our country. The third objective is the role that we play in terms of supporting the creation of a capable state in South Africa, or the development of a capable state in South Africa. So the two arms of what the CSR does. One is about supporting industrial development, which is SO2, the second strategic objective, and the third one is about our contribution to supporting the development of a capable state. The last two objectives are more internally focused, about building and transforming human capital and infrastructure. And then the last one is about the diversification of our income streams, maintaining financial sustainability, as well as good governance. Next slide, please. Maybe just to give an indication of how we have then delivered on these 5 strategic objectives as an organization, focusing primarily on the first 3 in terms of outcomes, outputs, as well as impact. We've contributed significantly towards the generation of knowledge in our country through publications, just over 2,500 over the past 5 years. Past 6 years, we have filed 35 priority patent applications. We had over 110 patents granted to the CSIR. We've licensed 55 technologies to various enterprises within South Africa. We have localized just over 100 technologies. So these are technologies where in the past, we were importing these technologies or these products from other parts of the world. And we are now able to produce these products here in South Africa, working with industry partners through the work that has been done by the CSIR. We've signed over 200 joint technology development agreements with industry. We've supported over 770 small and medium enterprises. We've contributed to national policies as well as national standards. And we've executed 730 projects to support the development of a capable state. Something that we're very proud of is our performance with regards to governance. Over the past 15 years, and one can go even beyond that, we've maintained a clean audit outcome within the organization. We are a level 1 BBBEE contributor, and this has come through very deliberate effort and intervention that we've put in place to ensure that we can achieve this level of BBBEE within the organization. It's a bit of a mouthful, but we thought it's important that we introduce what the CSR does before we then take a deep dive into the work that we've done in support of the roadmap. At this point, I'm going to hand over to my colleagues, Silayelo Ramohlale and Coralie van Renen, to take us through the rest of the presentation. Silayelo, please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO, and greetings to honorable members and colleagues. As outlined earlier from the introductions by the DSTI, the objective of this section of the presentation is to introduce the objectives, approach, and achievements that we have achieved through the Science, Technology, and Innovation for Sustainable and Human Settlements Roadmap. Essentially, I think at the beginning when the colleagues from the DSTI spoke, the challenges that led to the development of the roadmap were outlined, including inability to achieve the sustainable development goal of developing sustainable cities and communities, the sporadic and uncoordinated science, technology, and innovation activities that are taking place in the sector, the housing backlog of about 2.4 million units, and with people living in squalor conditions in informal settlements, declining budget allocations in human settlements, and the challenge that we face brought on by the impact of climate change, resulting in disasters affecting several communities, and the declining number of houses delivered annually. And in turn, then the roadmap, as was outlined earlier, was introduced basically as a strategic framework which is premised on the fact that innovation and technologies can be employed to improve the delivery and sustainability of quality human settlements in the country. And the roadmap was developed on based on sector research conducted by the CSIR, Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, and the Department of Human Settlements and other partners as outlined by the previous speakers. It was launched in 2021, and the objective is to drive uptake and mainstreaming of innovative technologies in the human settlement sector through investment. And this, what you see in front of you now outlines the process that was followed to develop the roadmap. And this included conducting status quo and trends analysis to investigate STI in sustainable human settlements, understanding science, technology, and innovation opportunities, capabilities, potential maturity, and industry readiness, and defining an investment portfolio of roadmap activities and projects, and lobbying to obtain buy-in through coordinated efforts through engaging with various stakeholders. And when the roadmap was developed, it had actually taken or developed over 2 years of research and stakeholder engagement. The roadmap seeks to identify and implement innovation throughout the human settlements sector value chain. And at each point, the consideration is around opportunities for innovation to improve sustainable delivery of infrastructure and services across the value chain. The diagram there specifies the value chain and cycle of infrastructure development and maintenance related issues. And the strategic objectives of the roadmap is to stimulate and guide investment in science, technology, and innovation initiatives, facilitate increased investment in science, technology, and innovation, especially looking at smart and green human settlements. And it also provides a framework for informed decision-making to identify appropriate technologies and investment opportunities. And the identification of opportunities to mainstream new technologies that will improve sustainability of human settlements is highlighted in the earlier presentation, that there are several, the Department of Science and Innovation demonstrated several pilots that have been demonstrated across the country, but still not at a large scale. And in terms of the implementation of the roadmap, the question around the approach in terms of how are these objectives going to be achieved. And there are many approaches to this, and part of the approaches include changing the culture of innovation, and this includes changing attitudes within government, the private sector, and in communities, employing the digital tools to promote and monitor change, and the demonstration of success through implementation, which is where we would like to see some of the pilots being upscaled and utilized as the norm in various communities. Identifying promising technologies and advocating for existing technologies and building knowledge so that through this knowledge, we are able to lobby and advocate for expansion and upscaling of the various science and science, technology, and innovation initiatives that are being implemented out there. When the roadmap was established or conceptualized, there were 6 thematic areas identified to plan and execute the roadmap. And this actually, all of the 6 areas cut across innovation and sustainability. And this were a culture of innovation, digitized enterprise, strategic projects, technology pipeline, technology diffusion, and directed capability, which I'm going to go into some detail into now. And over time, there were 2 additional clusters that were added, bringing the roadmap to a total of 8 thematic areas. And the additional new clusters added were circularity and sustainability and innovative disaster response, which then now gives us 8 clusters for the roadmap. And here, what you're looking at is a summary of the clusters and some of the initiatives that each cluster is looking at. I will not go into detail around that. We'll go into the detail a bit later when we get into the cluster initiatives. And as alluded earlier, and we know in terms of the broader implementation and the broader agenda of the country, where we rely a lot on cooperative governance, and we also, as part of the CSIR's mandate and the EPIC values around the CEO, highlighted how we value collaboration. And in terms of the stakeholders that are involved in the roadmap, it's actually cross-cutting. The issues in the roadmap are cross-cutting across the sector, and we've been working with various stakeholders in this project of the roadmap, and the anchor stakeholders remain the DSTI and the Department of Human Settlements. And the clusters that I highlighted earlier, the 8 clusters, are led by various stakeholders as well, and each cluster is led by initially aligned key stakeholders, where we looked at each cluster and what the cluster seeks to achieve, and then the partners then were brought into and had discussions with and they agreed to lead the various clusters. The Nelson Mandela University leads the Culture of Innovation. South African Local Government Association leads Digitized Enterprises Cluster, and the CSIR team leads the strategic projects. The National Home Builders Registration Council leads the Technology Pipeline Cluster. Agrama South Africa leads the Technology Diffusion Cluster. University of KwaZulu-Natal leads the Directed Capability Cluster. And the CSIR leads Circularity and Sustainability and Innovative Disaster Response Clusters. The other stakeholders who also participated and are also participated in the development of the roadmap and are also members of the steering committee that we have to take the implementation of the roadmap forward include Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Department of Water and Sanitation, Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, Green Buildings Council of South Africa, University of Pretoria, University of Johannesburg, the Provincial Departments of Human Settlements, the banking sector, Social Housing Regulatory Authority, Technology Innovation Agency, and the Development Action Group. In terms of the operating model of the roadmap, it was indicated earlier that the CSIR hosts the PMU, the Program Management Unit, which is under contract for the DSTI. And the DSTI actually funds the Program Management Unit oversight activities, including a small allocation to initiate and support implementation of projects, which happen through various clusters, and some of the work is implemented by the CSIR through the PMU. So in terms of the operating model, we have key stakeholder representatives, which were in the slide that I previously showed. They are members of, they form part of the steering committee, which helps us to provide strategic direction and oversight to the roadmap by holding the PMU accountable to strategic objectives and to supporting in achieving the goals of the roadmap. And then at the CSR, then we have the Program Management Unit, which is involved in the practical direction and coordination of the cluster activities. And the PMU reports to the DSTI. And then we have the 8 clusters and the heads of the PMU. And this is, there's a structure called the Roadmap Implementation Committee made up of the cluster heads. And these clusters have identified and also implement various activities that take the roadmap forward. And the question around why is investment important, or why is investment required in the roadmap? It is important for us to lobby and galvanize various institutions and sectors to invest in the roadmap, because we know that the industry is risk averse, resulting in low demand and high implementation costs, which in turn eventually lead to limited uptake of the various technologies and innovative ideas that we've been working around. And also investment is important to overcome this hesitancy, where technologies must be demonstrated and proven at high cost. And then once the uptake becomes higher, then eventually, as the demand increases, it will drive the cost down. And the cost of IBT construction is comparable to that of conventional systems. But this certainly needs will result in return on investment at a later stage. And government should take the lead by setting an example for the private sector to follow. And therefore, government investment is required to upscale the various technologies. In terms of cluster initiatives and cluster processes, the 8 clusters were I introduced a bit earlier. And the first cluster is the culture of innovation, which the vision basically there is human settlements and housing practitioners are empowered to work collaboratively across organizational boundaries. And basically here we're looking at expanding people's mindset or also working around changing mindset and behavior with increased experimentation, controlled risk-taking and agile response to new challenges. And part of the initiatives in the culture of innovation include looking at enabling policy, environment, creating dialogue across the various sectors, thought leadership and budget coordination. And some of the initiatives that have been undertaken through the cluster of culture of innovation include an enabling policy development where, for example, there's been a policy for sustainable IBTs for human settlements, which was developed with multi-stakeholders inputs to facilitate the uptake of IBTs and promote sustainability. And there's been a revision of the Agrama Act, which has been considered to improve the quality control of innovative technologies. And this involved multiple stakeholders. The Human Settlements White Paper underwent a review and has been published, and it includes reference to the use of IBTs. As part of the CSIR and the PMU team, contributions were also made, input into that revision of the Human Settlements White Paper and the Agrama Act. And in relation to facilitation of dialogue as part of the culture of innovation, there was a National Construction Summit, which included a special session on innovative building technologies and sustainability in November 2025, and a roundtable discussion and masterclass on innovative building technologies and climate change adaptation in human settlement was also hosted in November 2025. With regards to thought leadership, the PMU was represented in the National IBT Summit Research Planning Committee. And one of our own, Dr. Coralie van Rienen, spoke in one of the plenary sessions at the IBT Summit held in February 2026. And the keynote address was delivered by a speaker from the Roadmap PMU at the International Conference for Sustainable Construction in the Built Environment, highlighting the mainstreaming of science, technology, and innovation. The participation took place in a moderated panel at the National IBT Summit where Dr. Coralie van Rijn represented the CSIR. And a representation of IBT was delivered to the Human Settlements Parliamentary Committee, which is what is happening today. So all these efforts and linking up with the various stakeholders and participating in various platforms to share knowledge and to contribute to policy development are part of the culture of innovation. And in terms of the budget coordination, meetings were coordinated between the DSTI and Department of Human Settlements on budget coordination. And there's also the Water Technology Project, which is an EU CSIR collaborative initiative, which is implementing sustainable water solutions for rural settlements in Njambini, in Duchwa. In terms of the second cluster of digitized enterprise, the vision there is implementation schedules, but budgets and programs are harmonized across implementing entities, and integrated planning and innovation is encouraged through well-defined processes, enabling tools, methods, and various tools of data management. And planning practices are based on evidence and shared best practice. So in digitized enterprises, we actually trying to find several areas of best practice and also utilizing evidence to influence the work around that. And the initiatives include monitoring trends, smart utilities, decision support tools and knowledge platforms. And in terms of knowledge platforms, we actually have the Urban Knowledge Exchange Southern Africa, which is hosted here, was established here and is hosted here at the CSIR in partnership with the DSTI as well. This is actually, it's an online platform which is free access, and it provides regional knowledge across Southern Africa. And it supports evidence-based information related to urban policy planning implementation across cities, towns, and villages. And yeah, it hosts a huge repository of information, and we also host events on this platform. If sometime in the past week, we hosted a webinar on how to find an innovative building technology, sharing information across the various sectors, where we had the NHBRC presenting some of the tools that they've developed, and also part of our CSIR colleagues sharing some of the information related to the tools developed around IBTs in relation to disaster response. And taking it forward around some of the decision-making tools, support tools that we have as part of the digitized enterprises. The Technology for Service Delivery database was also established, which is an online platform established by the DSTI, assisted by some of our colleagues from the CSIR. It's actually a platform that supports the adoption of innovative technologies to improve human settlements and basic service delivery in South Africa. So basically what the tool does is to host various technologies such that members of society, municipalities, and various organizations can log onto the platform and look at or find various technologies that are available out there. There's also the NHBRC IBT analyzer tool, which helps planners and designers and housing practitioners to select innovative building technologies. So there's a criteria that you use to check if there's an innovative building technology that one is interested in. You are able to go through the tool where there are questions that you need to respond to, which will then give you some kind of a score around the suitability of that particular IBT for the area that you are searching it for. So this actually strengthens housing delivery decisions by matching building systems to specific South African context and location. So there might be an IBT that would be suitable in the climate for KwaZulu-Natal, but may not be suitable for a climate in Mpumalanga or Limpopo or vice versa. And this enables evidence-based comparison around using IBTs in using climatic performance and implementation criteria. And we also have, as part of the decision support tools, as part of the CSR team working with the DSTI, we supported municipalities with the institutionalization of innovation through the development of innovation strategies, which is a way of the municipalities starting to institutionalize and move towards sustaining innovation in their municipalities, starting with developing solid strategies that could take that process forward. I will hand over to Coralie. Thank you.
Thank you, Salilo, and good morning, honourable members and colleagues. I'll be taking you through some of the other clusters that the roadmap focuses on, the thematic areas, continuing from Salilo, looking at strategic projects. The vision of this cluster is that strategic projects will address important national objectives. These often lie outside the mandate, scope, budget, or usual business of individual departments, hence requiring collaboration. These projects will typically address either neglected or complex topics which need multi-actor cooperation and an injection of investment. Initiatives under this theme include flagship projects, pilot and demonstration projects, catalytic scale-up projects, and future technology-focused projects. Next slide, please, Salalo. Thank you. An example of a project that has been implemented to date, and Dr. Masia also referred to this project, It is a flagship project of the DSTI in collaboration with national and international stakeholders. And the objective was to demonstrate technologies in practice in a real life scenario. So, for example, there is a grey water recycling technology that has been installed. We demonstrated and explored how green technologies and other innovations contribute to sustainable human settlements in South Africa. There's been research hooked onto this project at an academic level. The project aims to guide the development of sustainable human settlements in South Africa, who are suffering typically from poor infrastructure. So how can we improve the infrastructure that's been delivered and apply green technologies in an integrated manner based on the local context? I want to focus here on the word integrated because it's important that we don't just look at individual technologies, but how they work and fit into the whole neighborhood and human settlements context. Another strategic project, which has also previously been alluded to, is that of 3D printing. And the objective here is to integrate this new technology into housing delivery and construction. So this is, of course, working closely with University of Johannesburg. They are driving this initiative. They are collaborating with the key stakeholders to implement pilot projects in a real-world application. They are looking at assessing the social acceptance and life cycle costs and supply chain readiness and future technology trends related to this technology, including analyzing cost effectiveness, societal benefits, and sustainability outcomes of 3D printed housing, and also looking at advanced technology adoption to support economic development and enable more efficient and sustainable housing solutions. Other projects under this theme of strategic projects is pilot and demonstration projects. These are typically single instance projects where only one building has been constructed using an innovative building technology to demonstrate the potential of this technology. So some examples are the CSR Rapid Response Residential Unit, which has been built on the CSR test site, and I'll elaborate on that a little bit further on in the presentation. The Noncrete Circular Economy Demonstration Project, which is in the Western Cape using biomass-based bricks and precast slabs made using alien invasive species that have been removed from the area. The Key Bricks demonstration project down in KwaZulu-Natal uses waste-based interlocking concrete blocks produced at a lower cost, demonstrating how waste can be used instead of just wasted to make an innovative technology that has benefits. Pilots and demonstrations are supported as part of an SMME-led circular economy project. The program management unit of the roadmap put out an expression of interest, calling SMMEs to submit proposals which apply circular economy technologies in the human settlements context. So in that way, we are supporting the uptake and demonstration of innovative technologies and circular economy technologies in human settlements. Then moving on from pilot and demonstration projects, we need to scale up. And this has been identified as actually a problem trend in South Africa and globally, that pilot and demonstration projects remain just that. And so it's a real challenge and a focus for the upcoming years is how do we get projects from a demonstration scale to the next scale? The Ndlambe flagship project is the next step in the process, so that because that's a neighborhood of 10 houses and a multi-purpose center. So we've already gone from 1 unit to 10 or 11 units, and we need to start building on that. No specific projects have been implemented to date for catalytic scale-up, although there are 2 major developments planned by the Gauteng Department of Human Settlements that we want to influence to use those planned large-scale projects as opportunities to implement innovative technologies in a larger scale. Then future technology projects are where we need to identify a specific technology, for example, 3D printing, and find a project to specifically push that technology to the next level. Moving on then to the technology pipeline, the objective of this technology is really to identify of this cluster is to identify emerging technologies and help them get to the next level. So these might be immature technologies. For this, our initiatives are to develop a register of pipeline technologies that require support, look at them through living laboratories, promote them through annual showcases, and provide support to SMMEs. On the next slide, we talk here about the Technology for Service Delivery database. So Lila, if you can go on to the next slide. This has already been mentioned by Salilo in a previous slide, but the objective of this platform is to develop a register of mature or emerging technologies that require support getting to the next level, or offer a list of technologies that are available for immediate implementation in projects. So that provides a good registry of emerging technologies in South Africa. If we can move on and on, because I don't want to dwell too long on this. It has been mentioned. So the next slide, please, Salilo. In terms of technology pipeline initiatives to date, the Agrimar South Africa holds annual showcase events as part of their stakeholder engagement. So that's an opportunity for emerging technologies to be showcased to any potential funders and supporters and off-takers. We also offer SMME support, largely in an advisory capacity. We frequently get contacted by very early stage technology developers asking for advice in terms of the process of developing technologies, how to get approval, and so on. And then very closely related to the technology pipeline cluster is the technology diffusion cluster, which is really all about getting technologies vetted and approved for implementation. So this is actually headed up by Agrimar South Africa, since they are the key vetting technology. Advocacy and training is an important initiative under this. One of the biggest barriers to the uptake and diffusion of technologies is a lack of knowledge and understanding about how these technologies work and can be implemented. And so we deliver workshops to professionals and others about IBTs, and we support emerging technology owners in getting Agrimar support and certification, such as the Noncrete project, the KeyBricks project, and we list these on the T4SD database. The next cluster is a directed capability cluster. This really focuses on research, knowledge, and vocational skills establishment. So not only academic knowledge generation, but also transferring that knowledge and developing that knowledge at a vocational level about how to use these technologies and what they can mean in society. So just moving on to the next slide, some examples of work that has been done around this capability development is the work of UJ around 3D printing. 4 master's level research dissertations have been produced through the University of Pretoria, which has been directly influenced through the roadmap to establish a research agenda for STI in human settlements. Continuing professional development courses have been developed and delivered, and a National Building Controls Officers Forum has been used as an opportunity to embed and build knowledge about innovative technologies in the building control offices in the municipalities. Next slide. So this just lists a couple of the RD&I activities that have been implemented. Experimental research on emerging technologies such as mass timber at the CSIR, research proposal for collaboration between the CSR and the NHBRC on IBTs for disaster response. There's a great need for better disaster response and to understand how innovative technologies and science can help us with that. So we are looking at collaboration work to explore that a bit further. The CSR has developed a proposal for the adaptive reuse of inner city buildings. This has been issued actually to the Department of Human Settlements. We know that there is an opportunity that's been identified to reuse abandoned or underutilized inner city buildings, but there's hesitancy because there's uncertainty around the feasibility and practical implementations. And so we have proposed a project to develop decision support guidelines around that. We need to capacitate the municipalities, and so some work has been done around that. And there have been various publications and knowledge sharing through the IBT Summit. Then moving on to the circularity and sustainability cluster. The vision here is that materials supply chain design and operation of neighborhoods and settlements will consider the principles of resource reduction, reuse, recycling, and biodiversity. So there are various initiatives here, such as policy, guidelines, education, and demonstration. The work that has been done to date, I'd like to focus on this tour that the roadmap hosted in December last year in collaboration with partners from the UK and Panama, looking at how South Africa is using circularity in human settlements in various ways. It was a very successful tour, and I think both the Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere were rather impressed actually with what South Africa is achieving. But this is all at very low scale, and so we need to learn to upscale. There will be a counter tour at the end of this month where South Africa and UK partners will go to Panama. Next slide. The CSR has been instrumental in circular economy demonstration projects where, these have been demonstration projects. Technologies have been identified that apply the principles of circularity in construction in human settlements, and funding has been provided for demonstration projects. I'll move then on to the innovative disaster response cluster. We all know about incidents such as the recent floods in Limpopo. There have been floods in KZN and Eastern Cape in recent years, as well as wildfires. And we need to look at how we can develop infrastructure in human settlements that is more resilient, and that when we build back, we can build back better and quicker. So we're looking at technologies, modes of delivery, and community initiatives under this. A key project in this area is the demonstration project at the CSR test site, where a bio-based dismountable emergency house has been built as a demonstration and a test unit. One of our key objectives is to identify technology suitable for a temporary residential unit, but also suitable for permanence, because this is a common issue, is that temporary units end up remaining as permanent units. So we did research to identify suitable technology, and it's ongoing research. It has been constructed at the CSR test site, and we'll monitor its performance over 12 months, and then we'll actually disassemble it and move it on to another site to demonstrate that potential. The next slide is also just some images of that build. That test building was built over 3 days. The first day was preparation, and then actually 16 hours for the actual build. So it was a really quick construction, but as I say, there's ongoing research on that. Colleagues, then to conclude, we recognize that transformation cannot occur without investment and partnerships. The key partnerships are between the Department of Human Settlements and the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. And so we're very pleased to be able to present and have all of us in this forum this morning. Partnership is important, but investment is also important. And the role of the roadmap is to coordinate such investments and partnerships. We believe that there is a lot of work to be done around how interdepartmental budgets are coordinated so that we can do the best we possibly can do to harness funds to implement innovation and to take that bold step to demonstrate to the country how this can be done. Another key issue that we'd like to raise for further discussion perhaps is the ring-fenced 2% for innovative building technologies. It seems that that has not been used effectively, and we'd like to come alongside and assist how and coordinate how that budget funding can be used better. Significant progress has been done to date, fostering key partnerships, and the next step is to identify key investment partners and to move into more upscaled projects and based off the demonstration projects that we have done to date. With that, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Coralie. And Silaelo, I will hand back to you, Dr. Cele. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CEO. Chairperson, let me apologize profusely for having taken longer than planned. We understand that we might have eaten into the time of my colleague who is here to present. But this is what the team had prepared to share with honorable members. Over to you then, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Before I get to the members to take questions, can I allow the DG of Human Settlement, if there's anything that he would like to add on this one? There are hands. There are two hands here. Honorable Mjadu and Honorable Poole. Honorable Mjadu.
Yes, Chair. It's time for questions now.
Okay. Yes, it's time for questions, but I said I wanted to just give 5 minutes for the DG of Human Settlement. If there is anything that he would want to say, then I take the hands.
Okay, thanks.
Then you'll be the first one, Honorable Mjadu, followed by Honorable Paul. But
thank you.
Yes. Anything from the DG of Human Settlement?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Just to indicate that we are continuously working with the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, and to confirm that we are working together on trying to find solutions which are important for the future of human settlements. But of import is that we need to find ways of getting those solutions to be within range in terms of affordability for our sector, knowing very well that the resources that are allocated to us are not that much, and we are faced up with a huge and significant backlog of delivery. And if the technologies that can be found and designed for us could be those that really are climate resilient, are helping us to deliver faster, but even more importantly, that they are getting at being affordable and within the range of the subsidies that we are currently getting from the National Treasury, then we are all in lock, stock and barrel in rolling out those technologies. And we have been working together to get some of the local technologies to be accredited by Agrima, and we have found that those that have been accredited, we are ready to start, particularly in response to disasters that may have occurred and the provision of temporary residential units. We are already utilizing these technologies, innovative building technologies, but we want to take them to scale. We want to ensure that in the building of normal houses that we deliver for residents, 40 square meter houses, that these technologies can be employed, and it will help us a great deal if in the process it can help us stretch the rent. And I think that work will continue between us and the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, and we have been directed by the Minister of Human Settlements to actually work further in getting the Department of National Treasury to work with us in trying to find a solution to what we are faced up with in terms of the funding caveat, because I think if you see the initial presentation was indicative that going forward, we have to work on the budget ourselves and them, and the uptake commitments that we would make so that the objectives of getting these technologies to industrial scale could actually be realizable. And to that extent, that work on the budget is what would be the next phase of our work with the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation and the National Treasury. And we have already, as a gesture of goodwill, we have begun ring fencing a portion of our grants. We have set a minimum of 2% for a start so that the provinces can start making a shift, as well as the bigger metros can start making a shift towards employing these alternative building technologies and innovative technologies towards permanent housing solutions in this regard. This figure and this percentage will continuously ramp it up and scale it up to make sure that ultimately we have as a way and a mode of delivery being the innovative building technologies. So that would be our contribution, but we are happy that the briefing has happened before Parliament, and that we hope the honorable members afford us more latitude and opportunity to go back and in the executive to finalize these matters and to also take them to cabinet, and that we are able to, after all intragovernmental consultations, to take them to scale. That will be our input, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG. Honorable members, I'm now giving you an opportunity. I've noted Honorable Njadu, Honorable Pool, Honorable Mazoni, Honorable Ramgalo, Honorable Nkosi. Yes.
Can you note me because my hand is not going
your
up here?
hand is not okay. Honorable Mbata.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. There's also Honorable Posho.
Mutaung, Chair.
Okay, Posho Mtaung, Tembekwayo, Sabo. I'm trying to check other members. Any member that wants to come in also? One. Okay, let's continue with those members that have raised their hands. I will be calling them. Honorable Njadu, because
Can you repeat the list? At least the person must know which number is he or she.
Okay.
Can you repeat it?
The list is Honorable Njadu, Honorable Paul, which is number 2, Honorable Mazoni, Honorable Ramgalo, Honorable Nkosi, Honorable Mbata, which Mbata is 6, Honorable Boshop will be 7, Honorable Ntaung 8, and Honorable Tembekwayo 9, and Honorable Sapo is number 10. And there is now Honorable Kihakilwe, which is the last one, number 11. Okay, let's go get honorable members. Let's start now. Honorable Njadu.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I greet everyone, honorable members, board department. Chairperson, without wasting time, I just want to go straight to my question. Minister, I just want to know, how will this roadmap support the implementation of the resolution of the Innovative Building Technology Summit made in Nasrec on the 3rd to the 4th of February? because several technologies presented under the roadmap remain at a pilot stage years after the announcement. What concrete steps have the government taken to scale these technologies into mainstream housing delivery programs? And how many actual housing units have been built using these innovations? And another question, given the involvement of the multiple department, research institution, and municipality, what formally coordination mechanism exists to ensure that this roadmap is implemented efficiently? And how does this department account for the apparent fragmentation between policy design and practical implementation? And the last one, considering that the municipality are responsible for implementing a settlement project, what concrete measures are in place to ensure that municipalities possesses the technical capacity, infrastructure, and funding to deploy these technologies at scale? I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Paul.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody on the platform. And I want to acknowledge the presentation as well. Chair, many innovative technologies struggle to move from pilot projects to mainstream housing delivery because of regulatory barriers in the housing code, subsidy framework, and approval processes. My first concern, Chair, and question is what specific regulatory or policy changes are required to allow these innovative technologies to be adopted at scale within the National Human Settlements Program? Secondly, Chair, from my understanding, the roadmap has existed since 2021 and is intended to mainstream innovative technologies in human settlement sector. Can we perhaps get a sense of how many housing units have actually been constructed using these technologies since the roadmap was launched? My third concern is that the presentation refers to flagship projects, pilots, and demonstration initiatives, including eco-villages and technology demonstrations. However, what I really want to know is exactly what specific plan exists to scale these pilots nationally so that they meaningfully contribute to reducing the 2.4 million housing backlog. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mazoni.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me just start by echoing the comments made by Honourable Poole. I agree with him completely that we do run a huge risk of what they call innovation theatre happening, where we simply carry on seeing things but not seeing them actually implemented. So I think we first need some surety, perhaps is the word, Chair, that this isn't just a pie in the sky idea, and that we actually are going to see some implementation. Having said that, Chair, we must appreciate that there are going to be regulatory barriers. And we already know that there's been a slow adoption of innovative technologies, especially in the construction sector. And there's an element of risk aversion, there's uncertainty. Can the department tell us what regulatory reforms, and probably most importantly, what procurement issues are posing a risk to this concept, this innovation concept becoming a tangible rollout that sees the housing backlog reduced dramatically? Chair, it must also be noted that the state of our municipalities, we know this, is in complete shambles across 90%, 95% of the country. And I fail to understand that given the state of the municipalities and given the financial state of so many of the municipalities, how we are going to get municipalities on board with an innovative idea, but one that requires a mind shift in understanding the way housing could be rolled out, understanding the way technology is moving forward. And Chair, I say this because our municipalities seem to be very averse to getting any kind of guidance from departments, certainly from parliamentary committees, and it is a problem that we're going to have to face. Chair, I also have to note, firstly, let me say that I appreciate this particular meeting, and I find the subject fascinating. And my sincerest hope is that one day projects like this roll out like clockwork. But there does, Chair, seem to be an inordinate amount of bureaucracy involved. We have a steering committee, a program management unit, cluster structures, multiple institutional partners, different government structures. How, Chair, are we going to then make sure that bureaucracy doesn't hinder this project completely? And further to that, inter-department accountability. We've seen this happen before in other committees that deal with Department Science, Technology and Innovation. Who is going to be the department who ultimately takes responsibility for these projects? Thank you, Chair.
Chair, can I come in?
Yes, I'm trying to open my mic. You can come in, Ramgalo.
Greetings again to all the colleagues, and thank you, Chair, for the opportunity. I too also welcome the presentation. Chair, structural challenges in human settlement is really well known and has really exacerbated over the years. The stats that we've seen reflected in the report today, for me, it's really a cause for concern, and it's also marred, by a myriad of other issues. However, it goes without saying that, STI has a role to play across, all government departments, because it has the power to act as a catalyst that fosters real innovation through, the use of modern technologies that could, possibly aid these departments. STI is really at the center of all of this. So my first question, Chair, would obviously be linked to, policy coordination and issues around governance, in the sense that, the report alludes to the existence of historically there being inconsistencies and, lack of coordination in research and innovative initiatives that are relevant to human settlement. And Chair, I would assume that now maybe there is a concise plan, and maybe they can briefly, highlight on it. Secondly, you describe the construction center as slow to adopt innovative technologies. Is there a plan to incentivize or bring about changes to policy that will be implemented in order to encourage the adoption of, alternative building technologies and public housing projects? And, what other regulatory barriers have you encountered that, prevents the adoption of these policies? Another one of my concerns is, how do you plan to ensure that, the construction workforce is trained in modern building technologies? Do you perhaps intend to integrate universities and, technical institutions? I know, there's already collaboration there, but I want to know more so whether they will be utilized to serve as a place where all of this will be taught. Are you perhaps also looking into supporting local innovators and startups in the long run, to assist in developing affordable climate resilient housing materials? And in terms of the level of funding of the pilot project, does it extend to research and development in housing technologies? I'm also curious to know whether all of this is truly, going to assist with the housing backlog, because, human settlement is one of the issues I'm personally passionate about and really concerned about. It's getting out of control, and interventions that seek to assist with preventing the blow up are definitely most welcome. Lastly, Chair, we've also seen the increasing climate-related risks that often take place in informal settlements, such as flooding and fires. Are there things like improved early warning systems and disaster preparedness initiatives that you are looking into? I mean, we have a serious problem that currently exists when it comes to disaster management centers at most of our local municipalities. That in itself, is already a serious problem. I have witnessed this coming from local government background. And so how do you plan to collaborate with the national National Disaster Management Center, to have that coordination being streamlined and rolled out effectively to, local municipalities? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ramngalo. Honorable Kosi.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I appreciate the report and welcome it. Chair, with regard to the Science, Technology and Innovation for Sustainable Human Settlement Roadmap, the presentation does identify that the government investment is required because the industry is risk averse, leading to high initial costs and low technology uptake. Therefore, Chair, I just want to understand what is the total budget required to move from the current pilot phase to catalytic scale-ups, particularly since no catalytic projects have been launched to date. And what is the total public funding allocated to the roadmap since its launch? Chair, I also want to understand what funding mechanisms exist to support the large-scale pilot projects and technology demonstrations, and what private sector investment has been mobilized so far through the roadmap. Secondly, Chair, the Department of Science and Technology and Innovation and the Department of Human Settlement, I want to understand how are they coordinating their budgets to ensure innovative technologies are prioritized in procurement. Chair, thirdly, the Technology for Service Delivery database was launched in August 2025 as to provide the local government access to certified technologies. So I want to understand, Chair, how many municipalities have been actively used or have actively used the Technology for Service Delivery database or the Urban Knowledge Exchange platform to inform their housing delivery plans, and how are municipalities being supported to adopt the innovation in the settlement planning and housing delivery, and what specific training or programs exist for municipal officials on innovative building technologies and digital planning tools. And Chair, on the regulatory frameworks and standards, in particular the technology vetting, the National Home Builders Registration Council and the Agreement South Africa, which is ASA, are key to certifying innovative building technologies. My question, Chair, will be to what extent has the proposed revision of the Agreement Act improved the speed of vetting the new technologies like your non-CRET or your key bricks? And Chair, also what I wanted maybe to get clarity on is how is the IBT analyzer tool being used to ensure that the technologies selected for disaster response are actually suitable for the specific climate conditions of the affected regions. Chair, I wanted also to get clarity also on the rapid deployment, because there is a demonstration project of the CSIR test site that showed a bio-based or dismantleable emergency housing unit that could be built in just 3 days. Chair, my question is, given that recent climate-related disasters mentioned in the problem statement, how soon can this rapid response model be deployed in actual disaster zones? And Chair, I know that the unit is designed to be disassembled after 1 year. What I want to get clarity on is where will these units be stored and who is responsible for the logistics of relocation, Chair. So those are the questions, Chair, I have. I might maybe come back later, maybe for follow-ups. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nkosi. Honorable Mbata.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable
Chair,
Mbata,
yes, hi.
continue. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I would like to appreciate the presentations, but I would like to suggest to the DG of Human Settlement that a lot has to be done to educate about this kind of material and its future in South Africa. We currently sit, I will make an example of a municipality where I come from, of over 50 and 56,000 households sitting in what is called transitional informal housing. These are households which were affected by bad weather conditions, in particular in the northern eastern part of Durban. These households, they have no future because some of them have settled for over 10 years. And the municipality keeps them in material that is very bad. The conditions are made worse when the provision of infrastructure and support services is not even there. So my recommendation is these types of opportunities of new material to be used for housing and human settlements should be first target, or its first target should be the transitional houses that have been built by metros or other local municipalities to facilitate human settlements for people who have been affected by bad weather. That is the first opportunity, because there is money that comes from national disaster, and there is money that comes from the emergencies of human settlements for provisioning people or to people who have been affected by disasters. So for me, understanding where this should be implemented, I think the target should be those communities first. Why am I emphasizing education? Education, 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 because people, when consultation about the material to be used is held, people reject the material on the basis of not knowing or having not heard about the material. So it's important that every community is educated about the uses of this material, the benefits of this material, and the importance of going away from the normal brick and mortar, which has always been used for decades. The second opportunities that are available is opportunities for new housing settlements. More often than not, human settlements are made less and less in provision, precisely because the material that is being used, the prices have escalated. I'll make an example, for instance. Bricks and mortar for low cost. It could be sitting at 87 to 89,000. I don't know if this is a correct figure, but basically I'm just guessing around there per unit. If we classify that kind of price and make what we'll call collaborative, example, if the alternative material can offer more, maybe with less, if that's the strength of the economies of scale, maybe that will benefit the new material, and people will be told this material is better, this material has these types of benefits looking at the environment and the effects of the environment in your community. Because it's no use doing low-cost brick and mortar only to find that when the bad weather happens, those people are severely affected because the material also that was used, it was bad material for that soil. It was also not advisable to be used in those soil conditions. Lastly, Chairperson, we need to establish if the government as a whole can target these alternative material for other alternatives. For instance, the construction of accommodation facilities for universities and TVET colleges. Again, there, it's education, education, education. People should not reject the material just because they do not know it. We need to educate them, to tell them of the benefits, the importance of the price, the importance of reserving more spaces for the settlements, and the importance of making sure that it is also environmental friendly for the future. If these benefits are spearheaded in the making of a case, a justifiable case for these materials or these new generation innovations in the human settlements, maybe, and just maybe, our communities will find attraction and they will hear and they will start opting for these opportunities. Industry players will never support something that they do not know how to squeeze their profit. Until they know how to squeeze their profit and make more money out of it, they will then come around. But right now, we need just to educate communities for purposes of extending delivery. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Boshoff.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I have basically the same question as many of our members, but I want to put it in another angle. I want to know if there is a division or a unit or something, probably at the CSIR, which looks at the upscaling and acceptance of innovation on a system-wide basis. I think the members of the Science, Innovation, Technology, or Science, Technology and Innovation Committee hear this as a kind of a refrain. At every place where we get, our scientific people can do the impossible. When somebody says it can't be done, South African scientists and innovators say, well, let's show you. But when it has to be commercialized, then it's more difficult. Maybe something like not doing things for alleviating poverty, but they say this is something for wealthy customers. And that creates an aspiration of using this, which is for wealthy customers, also for people who are not so wealthy. As people do not like to think, I am using a specific material because it's cheap. But actually, the question is about the presence of a unit which looks in principle at how do we upscale from the innovation phase to the commercial and large scale phase as a theory on its own. I'm sure there must be some discipline within the innovation ecosystem looking at that, something akin to change management and that kind of thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ndaung.
Thanks, Chair, for the opportunity. Let me also join colleagues by welcoming the presentation. Chairperson, I have only a few questions, man. Chair, how does the STI 4SH roadmap plan to secure and sustain the necessary investment amid declining budget allocation to effectively address the housing backlog and ensure scalable impact. Secondly, Chair, what specific mechanisms will be put in place to facilitate coordination and collaboration amongst the multiple thematic clusters and diverse stakeholders to avoid fragmentation and duplication of efforts? Chair. Chair, on policy and strategy, how is the roadmap aligned with the National Development Plan, the Human Settlement White Paper, and the National Climate Resilience Strategies? Secondly, Chair, what mechanisms exist to ensure alignment between the DSTI and the Department of Human Settlement in implementing the roadmap? Lastly, Chair, how are provincial and municipal human settlements plans being aligned with the STI for SH roadmap? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Tembekwayo.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks for the presentation for today. The following are my engagements. The strategic projects cluster focuses on flagship projects and demonstration initiative that test and showcase initiative technologies in real-world environment. One example is Ndlambe EcoSun Green Village project in the Eastern Cape. How does the Ndlambe EcoSun Green Village project in Eastern Cape benefit the immediate communities, including creation of job opportunities? The second one, the Innovative Disaster Response Cluster focuses on technologies and delivery models that improve the speed and quality of housing responses following disasters. What are the challenges of implementing these technologies in South Africa, or explore specific delivery models for disaster response housing? Pertaining to strategic implications, which emphasizes the need to integrate STI more effectively into housing policy and infrastructure planning, and highlights the importance of cross-sector coordination between departments responsible for housing, water, energy, environmental management, and local government. What is your plan to see a success, including sustainability in integration between the department responsible for housing, water, energy, environmental management, and local government? The scenario is houses are built within municipalities, and tender system is prevalent, and we see less of roadmap initiatives being considered by the contractors when the process of building houses takes place. That's why we have weak quality of houses which are seldom complete. And then this statement is also supported by the problem statement, which was echoed here, where mention was made of a housing backlog of 2.4 million units, with the households living in squalid conditions in informal settlement. How do you plan to effectively be part of coordination of this roadmap of the housing projects until the successful completion thereof? Pertaining to governance and coordination, how often does the steering committee meet, and what outcomes have been achieved today? And lastly, in connection with it's a repetition, the disaster response, what was your contribution in the recent Danone informal settlement in Western Cape that was recently destroyed by fire? The houses were destroyed by fire. Did you supply new housing material that can resist fire as a symbol of progress of deploying rapid response housing solutions following disasters. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Sapo.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to you and everyone in the meeting. No, Chair, I don't have any question because the question that I had, the two questions that I had are already asked by honorable members, but I will just make two comments. I want to say, DG, I think I have a problem with the minimal voice of the integration of the TVET colleges as the hub for skills development in this program. I have a problem with it because we seem to just bring it as a by the way situation or institution in all our innovation and technological ideas. I don't know at which point we will be then fully willingly to integrate the TVET sector fully in all our programs. I think at this point, they are critical, and I have a problem if they are not the key stakeholder, but they seem to be not there, not at all. I have a problem with that. That's the first point. The second point, is what you seem to be the utilization of the UKZN as the only institution. I'm raising this as an only institution because there is a pattern in most of the programs, research and all of that, UKZN seem to be prioritized. I don't know what is there that other institutions as Ngenayo, already you have something at the UKZN that is with the SIU, but you seem to bring it back and utilize it often even in this program. I don't know what is there, and I don't know what is the reason not to utilize universities that are in rural provinces. Because in most of your programs, they seem not to be collaborated that much. But if there is a reason academically, maybe it's something that I can be convinced on. But I just want to check, what is it that is it at UKZN that other institutions are not there? I see the UJ, I see the University of Pretoria, but there is a UKZN. And the last thing, the last question, Chair, is on the if I've missed it, I would be glad if I can just be pointed to. I will read myself. Uba, what is then the plan in the roadmap that seek to support the SMMEs? Because I have a view that they are also critical as the sector that participate in the chain of housing development. I want to check if they are then incorporated in terms of capacitating them and supporting them so that they can be able to adapt in the idea as they are participating in building houses. Those are the things, Chair, that I wanted to raise. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kigakilwe.
Thank you, Chairperson, and let me also appreciate and welcome the presentation. Most of the question has been covered, but I have two or three. The first one is in relation to the coordination of budgets. If we can be clarified as to what is it that the team seek to achieve and how is it going to be done? The other question is with relation to the cost of a single unit of an innovative house. looking at our current quantum from human settlement for a unit is between 160, 180. And most of these innovative houses, they are very expensive. And I just want to find out if there is that agreement with the Department of Human Settlement, because they will be maybe requesting more houses. Is there going to be any discount, or are we as a government going to be charged normally like an individual? And then with regard to the regulatory hurdles, I didn't hear the presentation indicate as to how are they going to be attended to. But my question here is to find out if there is any plan to deal with these regulatory hurdles. And then how is the team going to ensure the long-term durability of these houses? Because for some of the existing innovative houses, some they are more than 25 years and they are still standing as compared to our RDP houses we are building for our community, which most of them last for 5 years. After 5 years, the ceiling, the walls will start cracking and everything. I just want to know how is this innovative housing long-term durability going to be tested? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable Sapo, I believe it's a legacy hand so that we can continue and take it to the two departments, to Dr. Tsele, Dr. Dlamini, and Dr. Moemi, who is the DG for Human Settlement, as they with their teams, and respond to honorable members. Dr. Tsele.
Thank you, Chair. I will defer all the questions related to regulatory barriers to my colleague, Dr. Mwemi. And then I'll ask my two colleagues here, DDG Mofe and Msia, to respond to some questions that had been raised, and then Dr. Dlamini will then respond to questions directed at CSIR. Let's start with you, Dr. Mofe, and then just let's consider time as well.
Please come in. Yes, as we consider time, please.
The demonstration thereof, and after that, we work with the land department, which is why even in the development of this particular roadmap, there were engagements with the relevant government department. And I think this basically also deals with the questions around the uptake of technology in general, or the issue of the road going forward, even in terms of the implementation of the roadmap. The department will continue to support the research and development that will probably result in the development of newer or even the improvement of the existing technologies that have been developed. And as and when the implementation goes on, we will continue to then working with our entities, build on specific adaptations and even improvements of technologies. I think the other issue around the work that we're doing, we also support broadly the work that happens in disaster response, not necessarily focusing on housing, but housing being part of that. So every time we are able to then provide working with disaster management and DCOG, when disasters happen,
what is it that can be provided from the human settlements point of view or from the sanitation point of view. And this is generically working with the disaster management and the relevant government departments. And it covers human settlements, it can cover access to all sorts of other facilities. I think in terms of the specific questions, we are going to then hand over, the Sepang will respond to some, and then the CSIR will deal with mostly technology-related questions.
Thank you, Dr. Mupe. Because of time, I'm just going to pick up some of the questions that I was able to record, and then I'll leave the rest to the CSIR. So on the durability question, that's an important question. NHBRC enrolls, but Agreement SA looks at the structural strengths, the stability of technology, the fire performance, the durability of the technology that is preferred or that could be used, the thermal and energy performance, even acoustics. So there's detailed reports of each of those technologies that's available if we need to know what is the durability and what is their strengths and why they are certified. I think Agreement can always provide that. Universities are involved. It's not just UKZN who are involved on the roadmap. We worked with UJ, we worked with the Nelson Mandela University, Professor Mbanga. He leads one of the clusters. University of Pretoria, Coralie CSR mentioned there is master's, PhD supervised there. Mangosuthu University was involved. But I think we can do more in involving other HDIs, historically disadvantaged institutions. TVETs are key. DSTI has got a comprehensive program, especially in the units that is headed by Dr. Mope and the Socio-Economic Innovation Partnerships to work with TVET colleges from inclusion point of view, training of artisans and reskilling and providing innovation labs. So we may want to find a hook in enabling more participation of TVET colleges around training of artisans in these new technologies. In Ndlambe, yes, communities are to benefit from an employment and opportunity, entrepreneurship opportunity point of view. There's an LED strategy. So it's not just what you have seen around the digital hub or the 10 houses that are off grid. For a neighborhood development vision for Ndlambe, we've built that digital hub. It's got laser printers. It's got on the LED strategy for that area, there's waste recycling and how to support young people to start up their own businesses. I think the other questions, I will leave them for CSIR. Perhaps I can talk about a question from Honorable Mazzoni, who asked about the state of municipalities and what we're doing in supporting innovation there. The municipalities face a lot of challenges, but the DSTI did not stand back and say there's nothing we can do. So we have set up a number of instruments to support innovation uptake in municipalities. This includes, in some instances, innovation strategies. This morning we received an email from CSIR confirming that the Waterpack innovation strategy that we have funded, that is implemented by CSIR for Waterpack and also for Umhlatuze, both of those innovation strategies were approved by council. So the municipal councils have approved. So we are slowly embedding the idea of innovation. We are even measuring innovation, Honorable Mazon, in municipalities. There's a country report on innovation practices in municipalities, and we have set up a number of instruments. There's a huge program supporting innovation uptake in municipalities, VVISDP, Viability of Innovation for Service Delivery. Slowly, we are really inculcating a culture of innovation in municipalities, and there's some training courses that we are supporting for officials in some of the universities, and we are in discussions with National School of Government around this. And then the last one maybe I can respond to is around the question asked by Honorable Mjadu, how will the NASREC resolutions be supported by this roadmap? So the roadmap will certainly support the NASREC resolutions, but this requires the two departments to recognize that the roadmap provides a platform and provides an institutional mechanism in the form of a PMU through which the NASREC resolutions could be implemented. So the PMU is established. It is fully functional. It is there. If those resolutions are to be implemented, there is a PMU at CSR that can be used to take those resolutions. And then the last one is the social compact that was signed at NASREC. So the roadmap, if you go through that document, advocates for a social compact for which multiple stakeholders, including civil society, research institutions, industry, government, commit and make some commitment. So that's a good milestone. Already it was proposed in the roadmap, but already it has transpired through that IBT summit. Thank you very much, TDG.
Thank you very
So
much,
that,
DG.
yes, go ahead, Dr. Lami.
Thank you so much. If I can invite Coralie and Silaelo, please, to address the CSR-related questions. Over to you, colleagues. Coralie first.
Thank you, Dr. Dlamini. Thank you, Chair. And thank you to all the members for your questions. The questions confirm for me that the roadmap is doing what it should be doing, because the purpose of the roadmap is actually to answer all of these questions. It's an incredibly complex sector, as I'm sure you know. Human settlements is not just one thing. And we are turning a very heavy ship. We're not in a nimble speedboat, so it takes time and a lot of effort to gradually turn this ship into a different direction. And that involves looking at policy and regulation, education, technologies, all of these things to get this ship turned so that we can be successful. So we are busy with that. And I definitely, we recognize the urgency to get more better houses on the ground quickly. And so we are doing our very best to make that happen. We recognize that pilot projects need to be upscaled, but even that is a scaling process. We won't go from 1 unit to 1,000 units. We need to go from 1 unit to 10 units to 100 units to 1,000 units. And pilot projects are not, a demonstration project just demonstrates this technology works or doesn't work. A pilot project is actually a research project. And that's what the beauty of a project like Ndlambe is. It hasn't been a perfect project, but we've learned a lot, which means that from our lessons learned, we can improve as we upscale and do things better. We've come across regulatory barriers and things like that. And so now we can adapt policies and regulations based on our lessons learned. And that's the purpose of what we're trying to achieve. Then I also want to just say, we, as the PMU, our role is to coordinate this network. It's a massive network. There are many role players. The key role player is, of course, the National Department of Human Settlements in implementing, but that then trickles down to the implementers at municipal level and private sector and. So our role is to coordinate these efforts so that we don't have discoordinated, isolated efforts. Everyone's doing their own thing. There's duplication and there's not enough impact. So that's really our purpose. And that's the purpose of the steering committee. And we do have representatives from Department of Human Settlements on the steering committee. And we invite further participation on the steering committee so that we make sure that we are indeed aligning with what Human Settlements wants us to achieve. The PMU, if I could put it this way, we're an influencer, not an implementer. We do not have the funds to implement projects, as in construction projects. We would be happy to assist as implementing agents on projects, but we're not the ones putting houses on the ground. Our role is to influence those who are putting houses on the ground to do it better by using science, technology, and innovation. We want to influence those who are funding houses on the ground to fund innovation on the ground. If that funding gets channeled through the PMU, through the DSTI, through the CSR, that's fine. We're happy with that. So I'm trying to address a number of the questions sort of all at once here so that you don't misinterpret our role as we should be putting houses on the ground. But we do want to influence those houses on the ground. There were a couple of questions that touched on regulation. There are no regulatory barriers. There are knowledge barriers. The South African regulations policies are very supportive of innovation. Our national building regulations, Agromar SA supports. There's no reason why we can't be putting innovation on the ground. The barrier is in the processes in terms of procurement. And their procurement's not a problem. It's the knowledge of what we need to put into our tender documents. And there the PMU has written example tender documents that can be used by municipalities through SALGA. We're partnering with SALGA because they have an opportunity to touch with all the municipalities, and that's why they are one of our key partners. So yeah, it's more the knowledge of how do we do this than can we do it, because we can do it. There's no barrier. We are also, on an annual basis, engage with the National Building Control Officers Forum as a way of educating building control officers, because that's often a barrier as well. There's nothing wrong with the plans. They just don't know enough about these alternative technologies. It is difficult. Business as usual is easy. There's no risk. Everyone knows the cost. Everyone knows the risks. Everyone knows the payoff periods when we're building with brick and mortar. So there's always that question about risks and costs and how do we do this? And that's why education is the key. That is why we hold events like later this month. We have an academic roundtable so that we get buy-in from all the academic institutions, how we're going to influence here. 2024, we had a financial roundtable where all of those funding or who might have an interest in funding and so on for innovative human settlements could sit around the table and we could have discussions there. So I think in short, because I don't want to carry on too long, everything that has been raised in questions, we're on it. But keep us accountable by keeping asking us questions and pushing us to do more, better, faster. Please, if any of the members in this room would like to sit in on a steering committee meeting, we will welcome that, because the purpose of that meeting is to make sure that we are all aligned and pulling in the same direction. We have that meeting twice a year. I'm just looking through my notes now to see if there are any other key questions that I can answer. Through the UKESA platform, there are regular, I think, quarterly webinars, which is an opportunity for us to also disseminate information, lessons learned, platforms that are available, decision support tools, and so on. Yeah, I think I've mostly covered the questions now with inputs from the DSTI. Thank you.
Thank you, Coralie. DG, I hand back to you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. So just to confirm to honorable members that the department has a broader approach to working with universities. We have a comprehensive document that we have worked reflecting on our work with historically Black universities that we have prepared for the minister, because the minister is quite committed to make sure that the department supports historically Black universities. I myself am also in a process of engaging universities, all of them. So HBUs were taking a specific approach because their needs are different from advantaged universities. So we here and indeed, honorable members will make sure that we try and involve, we diversify our stakeholders. As my colleague indicated, TVET sector is quite important. And we should, it's not just the department, but the system as such. It requires to find a perfect fit with the TVET system so that there is that seamless integration. So we'll encourage colleagues. Now, the third issue is around the collaboration with the National Department of Human Settlements. Our ministers have directed my colleague and I to make sure that our technical team takes this work forward, the cooperation between the two departments, including making sure that the memorandum of understanding is renewed and rolled out and implemented effectively. We have that responsibility from our ministers, and our department remains committed to that. And I understand as well, my colleague is here. The third point is that Cabinet approved a new strategic management model 2 years ago. And that management model clarifies the relationship between our department and other government departments. It determines at what point will our department be involved in certain key initiatives and at what point should it exit. So for instance, here, we might have initiated IBT-related research projects, and we're very grateful that Human Settlements Department came in quite early, and we're working with them because they are the most critical department in taking forward some of the pilots, if not all. At a particular point, we would have to exit, and once the full implementation of those technologies is in full steam, so that we can also continuously explore new innovative solutions so that our country is not left behind. As members correctly articulated, that we need to make sure that all South Africans at least have a shelter. So we too will seek to contribute towards that. So that Cabinet approved model, it helps us to understand how do we need to engage with other government departments. The fourth point, yes, we have been working with the Disaster Management Center and throughout the crises that we have experienced, including the recent one on floods. We provide different kinds of support through our entities, CSIR, the National Space Agency, and others. And we also work very closely with COCTA to provide that ongoing support. So we're very much part of the support. The budget coordination, again, it's what Cabinet approved as part of that new strategic management model. Essentially, it encourages government departments at national, provincial, and local level to set aside some funding for innovation, which they can then utilize to respond to whatever challenges that they are encountering. In this case, municipalities, they could use that money to procure or to develop innovation solutions to respond to service delivery platforms. So that's why the money doesn't come to the department necessarily. It's about saying we're grateful Human Settlements has set aside 2%, which is essentially a reflection of what budget coordination is all about. So at this point, let me hand over to my colleague, and thank you very much, Chairperson and honorable members, for the opportunity to present the work that our department and CSIR have been doing.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, DG. I'm seeing a hand of Honorable Tulani. I can't see the surname. It's Gamete or yeah.
It's Gamete, Chairperson.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, Chairperson, thank you very much for giving me some this opportunity. I'm not going to say much, but I hear the latter speaker was actually referring to the black universities. it just came to my mind that in as much as it used to be historically black universities, can we at least refer them to privacy disadvantage, because it's actually not sitting well, not unless you can convince me otherwise. I just wanted to have that to bring that comment, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Honourable Member. The point is taken. Dr. Muemi. Dr. Muemi, yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
Chair, thank you very much. Chairperson, thanks and thanks to the members and for the questions we have had, and I believe majority of them have been answered by my colleagues in the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. I just wish to respond to a few, which I believe are directed at us and are pertinent at where we are. First and foremost, we need to indicate, as I have already stated earlier when you asked me to speak, Chair, and with that opportunity you gave me, I did highlight that our impediments have largely been the budget, the availability of budget, particularly relative to the subsidies we are given, equal to a unit measure. And that itself is key, because if the technologies that are developed are way above reach from a budget point of view, they become quite unattractive to the National Treasury and therefore out of bounds and reach for us as a department for purposes of rollout. Now, I had indicated, Chair, that in the second phase of this work, now that we had indicated that some of these technologies we have worked on and that STI with its entities have worked on, some have been accredited by Agrimar. And we have had, as a lead up to our summit on innovative building technologies, a dedicated session in which we looked at the technology originators and owners. And we also looked at regulators as well. And we had a different session with the regulators, and to which we explored what members have raised, both as a regulatory impediments as well as administrative impediments and related and associated barriers to successful rollout. We have done so cognizant that we had been running pilots before in several areas. In Gauteng here, we have run a pilot of delivering not just a response to emergency housing, but also permanent solutions using the different building technologies. Added to this, one must hasten to indicate that members of the Portfolio Committee of Human Settlements will be quite au fait with what I indicate now. That one of our entities, the National Home Builders Registration Council, has the Eric Mulodi Center, a demonstration and laboratory testing center for building materials in the south of Soshanguve, in Pretoria, or Tshwane in our capital city. As you may be aware, that center has demonstration houses that have been built, some of them over 20 years ago, using different technologies that have been accredited in our country by Agrimar SA. And we had put those to a longitudinal study with a viewpoint of seeing how they behave in different conditions and without being maintained and without anything, and how the materials will hold out and how they would perform. And we have also begun taking some of those technologies and putting them into pilot projects across our provinces, albeit with a clear acknowledgement that it was always intended to be on a small scale. We have been advancing a structured manner in which we and science and technology could find each other. And I think that there is greater clarity now
that what we are about to embark upon, if those technologies are intended to help us build faster, then indeed we are keen and interested. If indeed they are affordable and they are also climate resilient, and they can compare to the bricks and mortar or even be better from strength and other considerations, all the more reasons why we should be more keen on that. However, the downside of it has always been the prohibitive nature of the cost exercise. And of course, we have to balance out that, not just by a direct comparison with bricks and mortar, but also due consideration of what the total benefits would be to the country if homegrown technologies are actually industrialized. And that is an exercise, unfortunately, the two departments cannot conclude on their own. And hence our intent at engaging both the financiers in the human settlement sector, but also the Treasury as the main financier now of the majority of housing developments in our country, to look at this matter, including government-owned entities that also are development financing agencies or institutions, such as the Social Housing Regulatory Authority and also the National Housing Finance Corporation. And with all of this, the intent really is to scale up, is to take what we are doing to scale. We are much more robust than we have been. And I think an acknowledgement must be made that the work we have done in the last year by far exceed what has been done in the last 10 years of engagement. And I think that impetus is beginning to show. And the collaboration we have also had in as far as the demonstration of these technologies on the sidelines of our recently held IBT summit in Nasrec also demonstrated that we are ready for rollout. And I had earlier indicated, I think there was a question around how much money we are availing for this purpose. And I had said that the 2% of both the Human Settlements Development Grant as well as the Urban Settlement Development Grant, a minimum of 2%. And I think I need to emphasize that we had placed a lower minimum threshold, but not an upper. The upper, we have left it now to the scale by which each province is capable of a quick shift towards rollout. And I think provinces like the Western Cape and Gauteng that have been rolling out a few pilots would be in a much more better position to ramp up even to, we believe, to about 15 to 20% of the grant. So we have not prohibited anybody from spending more money on the available grants towards IBTs. We have, however, put a minimum cap that at least 2% you cannot spend it on bricks and mortar. You have to spend it on IBTs. And like I've indicated before, this we believe will become to be a catalyst, and it will also become a new incentive for uptake by provinces. Earlier, they were raising the issues that says indeed, as Honorable Poole pointed out, that the housing code as well as the grant frameworks were quite limiting to them. Those regulatory barriers, we have reviewed them. We have now enabled both the financing instrument, but also the policy instrument in the housing code to allow, and we have also published the variation and density manual as well as the manual for the purposes of varying the subsidy quantum to consider IBTs. So we have done all of this to clear the landscape towards implementation. And the ministers have directed us to move with speed with reference to this, and we are responding to that call in earnest. And this is where we are with the process. I've heard also that there are major concern, or rather, as an input and a directive or an advisory by the committees, is that we seek to utilize this for prioritization of those that may have received temporary residential units. We agree. and we welcome that directive. We do not have problems at all with that, and we believe that we would be able to do that. Our minister has directed that we genuinely consider eradication of TRUs if indeed the technologies we will employ and the system owners are telling us that these technologies, a house can be delivered in other instances within a week and in others within 2 weeks, then we think that we can do away with the TRU completely. And within a week of a disaster having occurred, we must move towards a permanent solution, and by providing an RDP house, which would be in a form of IBT technologies. And we are saying that we are aligned fully with our colleagues in science and technology in trying to inculcate and encourage us to be rooted in homegrown technologies and in doing that. Of course, like I've indicated, the caveat will always remain that the Treasury would give us targets in terms of the MTDP targets to deliver units of housing and corresponding monies based on those individual subsidies. And if the IBT technologies are unaffordable, then it's foolhardy to simply go lock, stock, and barrel with IBTs, only for you not to have enough money to deliver on the backlog and on the targets you are supposed to have. So a balance is necessary, is important, and of import is that then the funding instruments needs to be enhanced and leveraged. And if we indeed can succeed in doing away and eradicating a TRU, then it means that we can direct that money towards perhaps as a top-up or an enhancement of the current subsidies in enhancing that we can be able to roll out the IBT technologies. So we are hard at work. Honorable Mazoni is saying she needs us to give some form of guarantee that indeed what we are talking about will actually happen. I think, Honorable Mazoni, the most demonstrable commitment we now have is that in the past 10 years, we have spoken about this without making the funding available towards the rollout. While modest as we start, but it's a step in the right direction, and it's a much more improved scenario than we have been in the last 10 years to even have the instruments that have already been amended and that are ready for this. And even in the grant framework that the Treasury had published, they have accepted those new conditions to be embedded therein. And that we think is a game changer, and that we think is a demonstrable commitment. And I believe between me and the DG of Science, Innovation and Technology, we can give that guarantee that the rollout will actually happen. One member did posit a question that said, who actually takes the responsibility for the rollout? I think we should indicate that we will be quite unfair on our colleagues in science and technology about this. The responsibility is that of human settlements. The responsibility of ensuring that houses are built for people and that they are delivered within budget and on time and in a properly acceptable manner that the NHBRC can actually accept the quality of those houses. That's the responsibility of human settlements, and therefore Human Settlements as a department takes that responsibility of ensuring that the rollout will occur. Of course, we will need the support of the technology owners and the technology providers and the catalytic organizations like CSIR and the Science and Technology family in this regard. And therefore, we take overall responsibility just to provide a direct answer to the honorable member. I believe I've answered all that were not answered. As the others that I had noted were being answered, I scratched them out, only remaining with these ones that I have answered. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, DG, for those responses. And thank you, DG Cele and DG Mwemi and Dr. Dlamini, the CEO of CSIR, and all the team that was presenting to the members and giving us the information. And thank you for the responses. The chairperson of Human Settlement Portfolio Committee has boarded, as he had indicated, he is no longer available on the platform. But I want to thank both portfolio committee members, Science, Technology and Innovation, and also thank Human Settlement Portfolio Committee members, the two DGs, DG Cele, DG Muemi, and also the CEO of CSIR, Dr. Dlamini, for what they've presented before us. And I'm hoping that our collaboration is starting as the two portfolio committees, and it will continue as we are charged with the work of providing oversight over the two departments. And I'm sure that we will work together in ensuring that we encourage the departments to work together, and we also follow up on these developments because they are so exciting. I'm excited about what about the innovations, the technology, placing science at the center of government, industry, education, and society. And we highly appreciate that the fact that both departments are working together, and we are looking forward to seeing the results of all what has been presented here, and the results of service, the results being service delivery in action. The challenge that we are faced with as parliamentarians or as legislatures is that we're faced with the climate change, which brings a lot of disasters, a lot of them in different forms. So we have to respond. So we're hoping that this is going to really produce more productive and an efficient way of responding to that. And I'm encouraging the two departments to work together, and the ministers, as they are working together, if they can continue and do more work whilst we are here to provide the oversight as the two portfolio committees. Thank you very much. The meeting is closed. Let's meet in plenary this afternoon. Thank you so much, colleagues.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Chair, what about the committee business?
Oh yes. I thought we all understand as members that we are going to allow all the other members to go out and remain as members of the PC of Science, Technology and Innovation. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Can we remain as the portfolio committee so that we? Shanaz, are we okay now?
Yes, Chair, I was just busy removing some that was still here.
Okay. Okay. Can we proceed, Shanaz?
Oh, Good afternoon, Chair. From my side, I have got nothing on the program, but I just forwarded in the group a response message from the House Chair's office regarding the international study tour trip. So I don't know if everybody's, yeah, I'm just gonna remove the.
Okay.